everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see lots more healthy videos from me and lots of back to school. So to start off, we are making some blueberry crisp. So I'm using 1 cup of oats here. These are quick oats as opposed to normal oats. So I don't know if it makes a difference which one you use in this recipe, but I am using quick oats. And then 1/2 cup of slivered almonds, as well as 1/4 cup of almond flour. You can also substitute this with normal flour if you want, but I prefer the almond flour in this recipe. I'm using some cinnamon and then a couple tablespoons of coconut oil, which actually isn't bad for you despite what that article says. I don't know, just guys, don't believe that article. A 1/4 cup of maple syrup and pouring that into it. And I love using maple syrup because it gives it a nice flavor, but it's not a refined sugar, it's like a natural one. And then of course I'm using my Star Wars spatula. Thumbs up if you guys have seen my Star Wars spatula before. I got it at Williams Sonoma, by the way, in case you're wondering. And then we're going to use 3 cups of blueberries and put that into a round dish and kind of just spread it out. I love blueberries. They're in season right now where I'm in. You can actually go blueberry picking, which is really actually quite fun. And then I'm putting that crumble on top of the blueberries, just making sure to spread it out evenly on the top and to get like a nice layer covering all of the blueberries. And this pan, I think, is an 8-inch pan, like lengthwise, in case you're wondering. And then I'm putting on some aluminum foil, and this is important because if you don't put the aluminum foil on, then the crumble will turn too brown before the blueberries are done being cooked. So put that on and then poke it with a fork so that the steam can escape while it's cooking. And then I baked it for about 40 minutes. So I did 30 minutes and then removed the foil and did an extra 10 minutes until the top was brown. And it was so delicious. It's so warm and yummy. I've actually had it for breakfast the last 2 days in a row. It's delicious, perfect for summer, and a perfect use of blueberries without too much sugar. Next up, we're making healthy millionaire shortbread, which is a term, like it's called millionaire shortbread. I didn't name it that, but we're making the healthy version. So I'm using some coconut flour, and you can only use coconut flour in this recipe that I've tried. If you want to try it with something else, go ahead, but coconut flour is perfect because it's made with coconuts, so it's a lower glycemic index. Then I'm putting in some honey as well as some coconut oil. And guys, don't be afraid of coconut oil. It's actually a medium chain triglyceride, so it's gonna help you burn fat as opposed to like other fats, which will be like actual fat. Stirring that up until you get like a nice dough texture. Then we're gonna make the caramel part of our sauce, which is great because we're using dates and almond milk. So we're not using any kind of fake sugars or fructose corn syrup or anything like that. A little dash of vanilla for flavor. And then for the top of it, I'm using some dairy-free chocolate, which I like because it has 2 ingredients. It's like cocoa mass and cane sugar, I believe. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, which is actually gonna help create like the shell and help the chocolate harden on the top so that it doesn't actually get runny and it stays nice and solid. So I'm stirring that into the melted chocolate, which I did melt in 30-second intervals in the microwave, but you can also use a double boiler. And then I'm taking a loaf pan and I'm putting my shortbread mixture down first, and then I'm going to be pressing that down with my hand. I found it was a lot easier to use my hand as opposed to using a spoon or a spatula, just to make sure the dough is like one even layer. And then I'm spooning out my date caramel that I blended up and spreading that on an even layer on top of the shortbread, making sure I get an even layer across the whole thing so that, you know, you get some caramel in each bite. And I think this tastes so good. I'm obsessed with this recipe, guys. And then I'm putting on the melted dairy-free chocolate. And before I get comments that like, you know, chocolate isn't super healthy, keep in mind that this one is only 2 ingredients and it's dairy-free, egg-free, gluten-free, soy-free, and allergen-free from a lot of like fake stuff. Anyways, I cut it up and this is how it turned out. It's delicious, guys. I have been hard like resisting them in my fridge. I would suggest keeping it in the fridge, but they turned out really, really good. Lastly, we're making freezer fudge, which is super easy and quick to make. Again, we're using coconut oil. Guys, coconut oil is just so good for you, and it's such a good healthy fat, which will help satiate your body and like make it think it's full. I'm using a tablespoon of cocoa powder as well as a tablespoon of stevia. You can also use coconut sugar here. I would use one of those two in this recipe. And then this is optional, but I'm putting in a spoonful of peanut butter because I like the taste of peanut butter in my fudge, but you can totally omit this if you're going nut free, or if you can use almond butter too if you want. A pinch of salt and then stirring that up. And then I'm using an ice cube tray to push down little bits of it into the ice cubes because we are going to be putting this in the freezer. And it also makes perfect portion sizes for like a little dessert after treat. Put that in the freezer and then you can pop them out and you have this like freezer fudge, which is super yummy. They satiate your sweet tooth. You only need one and it's the perfect like little fat bomb, which will like satiate your hunger. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed these healthy desserts. I'm obsessed with these recipes. Let me know if you guys make them and tag me on Instagram as well, and I'll see you next time.